had always believed that what Sarah and I shared was something rare, something real. Our relationship began during our freshman year of college, and from the very start, it felt like we were meant to be. We quickly became inseparable, spending nearly every day together. Whether we were going on spontaneous road trips, staying up late talking about our dreams and fears, or simply lounging around making each other laugh, there was always a sense of ease and connection between us. We talked about the future as if it was a certainty, where we'd live, the kind of life we'd build, even the names of our future pets. But over time something started to shift. It wasn't sudden. It crept in quietly. First it was small things. Sarah, who used to light up at the thought of spending time together, started asking for space more often. She claimed she needed time for herself or that she was overwhelmed with schoolwork. I didn't question it much. I figured we were both growing, adjusting to the complexities of adulthood. College isn't easy, and I assumed the pressure was just getting to her. But the distance grew. Her messages became brief and inconsistent. When we were together, her presence felt muted, like part of her mind was always somewhere else. The easy conversations and laughter we used to share had become rare. One evening I couldn't hold it in anymore. I gently asked her what was going on, half hoping she would reassure me. Instead, she looked at me, her voice quieter than usual, and said, "I've been thinking a lot about us, and I think I want to date other people." The words hung in the air like thick smoke, choking any response I might have had. I stared at her, stunned, trying to understand if I had heard her correctly. I asked again just to be sure, and she confirmed it. She wanted to explore life outside our relationship. She explained that she had been in this relationship for so long that she felt like she had missed out on the experience of being single. She insisted it wasn't about not caring for me, but about needing to understand herself better. While part of me could rationally understand her need for independence and growth, emotionally it felt like a betrayal. We had shared so much, and now she wanted to walk a path that didn't include me. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. As hard as it was, I agreed to give her the space she needed. But it left me in a fog, unsure of what I was supposed to do now that the center of my world had shifted. The following weeks were a blur. I kept replaying our conversations, trying to figure out where things had started to go wrong. Then, unexpectedly, someone new came into my life. Her name was Emma. We met at a mutual friend's party. Just a simple, casual introduction. But as we talked, something clicked. She had this vibrant energy about her, a confidence that was warm rather than intimidating. Conversations with her felt effortless, like breathing. What began as a few conversations turned into daily meetups. Emma was kind and open, and she had this spark that reminded me of how things used to feel in the beginning with Sarah. But this wasn't a repeat. With Emma it felt different. She made me laugh in new ways, challenged me with her honesty, and made me feel seen. Slowly, without even realizing it, I began to feel like myself again. Maybe even a better version. I wasn't trying to replace Sarah. In fact, for a while I felt guilty for even enjoying myself again. But the truth was, Emma helped me remember what it felt like to be genuinely happy. And eventually others noticed too, including Sarah. One evening she messaged me asking if we could talk. We met at a quiet cafe, and she cut straight to the point. She asked about Emma, about whether I was seeing her in that way. I didn't lie. I told her the truth. Said yes. Her reaction wasn't what I expected. She wasn't angry or cold, just thoughtful. I saw something flicker in her eyes, a mix of surprise, regret, maybe even sadness. "I didn't think you'd move on so quickly," she said quietly. And I understood what she meant. It wasn't judgment. It was realization. That this chapter of our lives had really come to an end. I told her honestly that I hadn't planned on it either, but I had come to understand something important. I hadn't been happy, not truly, for a while. And I suspected she hadn't been either. She nodded, and for a long time we just sat there in silence. There was nothing more to say. We had both known this moment was coming, even if we had been too afraid to admit it. Finally she said, almost in a whisper, "I guess this is really over then." I looked at her and said, "Yeah, I think it is." And that was it. We didn't cry. We didn't yell. We simply let go. It was strangely peaceful, like both of us were finally free. As for Emma and me, things didn't explode into some grand love story overnight. We took our time carefully, respectfully. But with her, I felt something I hadn't in a long time, a sense of possibility, of renewal, joy. Being with her reminded me that life moves on, and sometimes letting go of what you thought you needed is the only way to find what truly makes you feel alive. I used to believe Sarah was my forever. But life has a way of showing you that not everything meant to start is meant to last. And sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself and someone else is the chance to begin again.